Okay, so if we look at the army composition and the way that the units are moving through the battlefield, but yeah, it's true. Actually, after the Russo-Japanese War in 1905, Nicholas II... Wait, what? Come on, this can't be true. Is it true? I mean, I don't know. I literally don't know if this is true. I don't know. Hi there everybody, so in the first part I asked you if you want me to cover the second part. You said overwhelmingly yes. So here we are. You said that the second part is even more gross than the first one. So I needed to check it out. So without further ado, everything you need to know is in the description below. If you want to join our community, just hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. Okay, let's jump into the video.
Hey kids, time to talk about more cases of stiff lifting from the days of yore. If you haven't seen part 1 yet, go check it out. Or don't.
Those stories
I'm a YouTuber,
are crazy.
Not a cop, unfortunately. This first tale doesn't feature an entire dead body, but I still found it interesting enough to talk about. So one day in 2012, a priest was riding a train out of Italy when his bag got stolen by a trio of thieves. Inside the bag was whatever normal personal possessions the guy happened to own, as well as a small vial.
A pipe.
Containing the blood of none other than Pope John Paul II. So this begs the question, why did the priest have Pope blood in his bag? Well, an important way that the Catholic Church honors saints and other venerated individuals is the keeping of relics. These relics are ranked in terms of how close they were to the person at hand. You got something that's tangentially related to a saint in any way, that's a third-class relic.
Kinda true.
If it's a personal possession of a saint, it's second class. And as for first-class
signed by Sleepnot. Where was it?
Relic, if it's a personal
Nice
possession
one.
of a saint, it's second class. And as for first class relics, those typically consist of literal body parts and or fluids of a holy figure. Now for you youngsters out there, in 1981 the Pope got shot 4 times by some fascist having a bad day. People are like, holy shit, It's a Popicide. Is that even a word?
True. Pope John II Karol Wojtyla, a Pole, he escaped an assassination attempt. He was almost killed. And afterwards, he went to prison and forgave the assassinator. So look it up.
No, I'm okay. Oh. Say, who left all this first-class relic lying around? So to this day, there remain 3 objects containing the fine-aged poppy juice spilled that fateful afternoon. The vial was found a few hours later by police among the reeds and grass near the station, which basically means the thieves took one look at it and were like, blood? I already make this myself. Lame, and tossed it out without a second thought. Here's the thing though, that's not the only instance of old JP2 getting blood napped. In 2014, a similar relic was yoinked from the church of San Pietro della Ienca in Italy alongside a crucifix. The fact that these were the only items taken led to 2 prevailing theories. Some people thought that, since John Paul II wasn't technically a saint yet, the relic's value would go way up once the man was actually canonized, so the thieves decided to take it now and resell it later. The other theory was way more popular with the media. After all, what use does Pope blood have other than satanic rituals? This story naturally got a lot of press, and the whole world just kind of assumed that Lucifer himself was set to return any day now. Eventually, the thieves confessed, so authorities came to the rehab facility they were staying at. They returned the cross, but when questioned about the relic, they were like, wait, what? Pope blood? Satan? Do you guys need to check in here too? Eventually, it was found in a rubbish bin on the facility grounds, which means once again, it was just casually tossed out as nonsense. You ever throw out Pope blood? Because apparently, multiple people have done that on separate occasions just in the past 7 years. It doesn't end there, of course. In 2016, this happened a 3rd time when a piece of cloth with John Paul fluid on it was taken from Cologne Cathedral. I can't for the life of me find a follow-up to this story, which leads me to believe that they're just like, fuck it, Pope blood's more trouble than it's worth at this point. But if you guys can find some conclusion to where it ended up, let me know below. Now, our next story...
Never heard about those blood stories with Pope's blood. Never heard about them. Okay, the second
Worth
story.
at this point. But if you guys can find some conclusion to where it ended up, let me know below. Now, our next story begins with a man named Karl Tanzler, a German-born radiology technologist in early 20th century Florida. He looked kind of like Sigmund Freud, except...
Is it going to be a Florida man story? Is it like the origins of Florida man or what?
even more evil looking. On the inside, he was a pretty normal dude, other than the fact that he claimed to have visions throughout his life of some mysterious dark-haired girl. Anyway, in 1930, while working at the Marine Hospital in Key West, he met a young woman by the name of Maria Elena Milagro de Hoyos, called Elena for short, and he said, "Oh my god, that's the girl from the visions I've been having." Yeah, wait, what? "We were meant to meet today. We must be soulmates." What? Don't you have like a wife and 2 kids? Destiny. Hoyos was soon diagnosed with tuberculosis, which was considered fatal at the time, so naturally, Carl decided to handle her treatment, going as far as convincing her family to let him visit their home every day. Except, he was a radiologist, so even if there were reliable means to treat tuberculosis at the time, he definitely didn't have the credentials to do so. But whatever, this is the past we're talking about after all. That place was a shit show from start to finish. I'm not about to get on somebody's case for a little clerical error. In addition,
but that's why we have Sam to uncover all the weird, crazy things that happened here.
In addition to whatever salves and tinctures and such doctors gave to people back then, Tanzler showered her with gifts of clothes and jewelry. I know he meant well, but if I was bedridden with a terminal illness, I'd just be insulted. Like, wow, thanks, can't wait to show off this little number out on the town. Anyway, eventually, Tanzler found that the time had come to reveal his true feelings. "Elena, there's something I must confess. I'm deeply in love with you." "I'm so glad you feel the same." Hoyos inevitably succumbed to the disease, leaving Tanzler heartbroken. He just wasn't ready to part ways with his pestilence-riddled sweetheart, so he asked the family's permission to commission an above-ground mausoleum for their daughter. And since this was the early 20th century, they said, "What a sweet, selfless man. I'm sure he'd never do this just so he could commit crimes against nature." Then he was like, "Oh yeah, by the way, could I have some of her hair too?" "Sure, kind stranger. Here's a bag of her hair we just had lying around for some fucking reason."
Nothing
Again,
weird happening
no
here.
red flags here. He went to visit her dwelling nearly every night for 2 years. Then finally one day he said, "You know what, kid? You're alright. Say, how's about we ditch this musty old mausoleum and go back to my place?" I'll take that as a yes. So he took her home in a little red toy wagon, which is ridiculous. It makes me picture him skipping around, whistling a merry tune. "Hey neighbor!" Now here's a riddle for all you intellectuals.
What was with other people? Didn't they notice that he kind of is going through the city with a body? Or what?
Out there. What do a dead body and a used PT Cruiser have in common? Sure, they both taste terrible, and you never want to be seen in public with one. Most importantly though, they're a depreciating asset. But hey, that didn't stop old Gnarly Carly from sprucing her up any way he could, wiring her bones back together with coat hangers, replacing her skin with wax and silk, making a wig out of that bag of hair from earlier, and soaking the body in massive amounts of perfume and disinfectants for obvious reasons. He claimed to have been instructed to do all this by Elena's spirit,
I can always say
apparently
that.
Talked to frequently. He also did, you know, that thing eccentric loners do with dead ladies in their house, but we won't talk about that. This went on for 7 years. 7 hot and humid Florida years, until 1940 when Elena's sister saw him dancing with some lady through the curtains. She's like, "Aw, how cute. I'm glad that old bag of lentils has finally found love." Walks in, comes to find out it's her fucking dead sister. So the cops come, but there isn't any conclusive evidence of any philandering with the body.
No way
the
that
only
happened.
crime Carl could have been charged with was grave robbing, except the statute of limitations was already up by the time he was found out, so they just took the body, tipped their hats, and went on their merry way. Tanzler still missed Elena dearly, but since he couldn't have her cadaver, he crafted a crude homemade effigy of the lady, which he lived with for the rest of his life. Here's the part that really gets me though. He apparently went back to live with his estranged wife once the jig was up. Just like, "Hey babe, I know we haven't talked since the whole corpse thing."
So they didn't get a divorce. Oh my god, if I were the wife, I would just run to, I don't know, not even another state. I would run to another continent.
But I've been having trouble making rent. Do you think I could come crash for a while? Sure, come right in. I'll take your coats. Would you and the demented life-size replica of your long-dead lover that you left me for like a cup of tea? I'd like one. None for her, though. It goes right through her. Of course, I'm making all this out to be a horrifying thing for the goofs and gaffs of it, but at the time, a lot of people read the news stories about Tanzler, and many actually sympathized with the man. They saw him as the distraught, hapless romantic that he saw himself as. You know why they had that compassion? Because they listened. Say, what would the world look like if we all listened more? Sponsor time. Listening to audiobooks inspires us, motivates us, even brings us closer.
Oh,
and there's no better place to listen than Audible. But what should you listen to?
Okay, I'm gonna let it roll, but I'm gonna put the volume a little bit down.
Normally, I tell you to go listen to my book, but
I mean,
I've never written a book.
Sam's stories are always, as I said in the last video, on the verge of, okay, it could be true till the point where you're like, no, this can't be true. But if he's saying that there were like newspaper outlets that talked about the story, it must be true. So I don't know. I really maybe the newspapers exaggerated a lot of the story. Maybe they added some things and to make it more dramatical or whatever. So
SAMONELLA or text SAMONELLA to try Audible for free. Link in the description.
Okay, Sam. People are going to do it.
Till next time, I'm Salmonella, and thank you for watching.
Ciao. Come back, Sam. Make a new video. Okay, I did it. Although, but at Sam's video, it's almost impossible to add something. Because you never know where it's going. You never know what he's going to talk about. And if you know at least a little bit what he's going to talk about, you never know. It's too complicated. Okay, hope you enjoyed it. If you want to be part of the community, just hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. Until next time, see ya.